Yehoshua the son of Nun, the servant of Yahweh, died, being 110 years old, and they buried him in the border of his inheritance in Tamanat Sarach, which is in the hill country of Ephraim, on the north of the mountain of Gaash. And Yisrael served Yahweh all the days of Yehoshua, and all the days of the elders that outlived Yehoshua, and had known all the work of Yahweh that he had wrought for Yisrael. And the bones of Yosef, which the children of Yisrael brought up out of Mithraim, buried they in Shechem, in the parcel of ground which Jacob bought of the sons of Hamor, the father of Shechem, for 100 qashita of money, and they became the inheritance of the children of Yosef. And Eleazar the son of Aaron died, and they buried him in the hill of Phinehas his son, which was given him in the hill country of Ephraim. Shofetim, Judges, chapter 1. And it was after the death of Yehoshua that the children of Israel asked of Yahweh, saying, Who shall go up for us first against the Canaanite to fight against them? And Yahweh said, Yehudah shall go up. Behold, I have delivered the land into his hand. And Yehudah said to Shimon his brother, Come up with me into my lot, that we may fight against the Canaanite, and I likewise will go with thee into thy lot. So Shimon went with him, and Yehudah went up, and Yahweh delivered the Canaanite and the Perizzite into their hand, and they smote of them in Bezek 10,000 men. And they found Adoni Bezek in Bezek, and they fought against him, and they smote the Canaanite and the Perizzite. But Adoni Bezek fled, and they pursued after him, and caught him, and cut off the big digits of his hands and his feet. And Adoni Bezek said, 70 kings, the big first digits of their hands and their feet cut off, gathered their food under my table. As I have done, so God hath requited me. And they brought him to Jerusalem, and he died there. And the children of Yehudah fought against Jerusalem, and took it, and smote it with the edge of the sword, and set the city on fire. And afterward the children of Yehudah went down to fight against the Canaanite that dwelt in the hill country, and in the south, and in the lowland. And Yehudah went against the Canaanite that dwelt in Hebron. Now the name of Hebron beforetime was Qariat Haraboh. And they smote Sheshai, and Achiman, and Ptolemy. And from thence he went against the inhabitants of Dabir. Now the name of Dabir beforetime was Qariat Sefer. And Caleb said, He that smiteth Qariath Sefer, and taketh it, to him will I give Achsah my daughter for a woman. And Othniel the son of Kenaz, Caleb's younger brother, took it, and he gave him Achsah his daughter for a woman. And it was when she came to him that she moved him to ask of her father a field. And she alighted from off her donkey, and Caleb said to her, What wouldst thou? And she said to him, Give me a blessing, for thou hast set me in the land of the south. Give me also springs of water. And Caleb gave her the upper springs and the nether springs. And the children of the Qeni, Moshe's brother-in-law, went up out of the city of palm trees with the children of Yehudah into the wilderness of Yehudah, which is in the south of Arad, and they went and dwelt with the people. And Yehudah went with Shimon his brother, and they smote the Canaanite that inhabited Thaphath, and devoted it. And the name of the city was called Haramah. Also Yehudah took Gaza with the border thereof, and Ashkelon with the border thereof, and Akkaron with the border thereof. And Yahweh was with Yehudah, and Yehudah dispossessed the hill country, but was not to be dispossessing the inhabitants of the valley, because they had chariots of iron. And they gave Hebron to Caleb, as Moshe had spoken. And he drove out thence the 3 sons of the Anak. And the children of Benjamin did not drive out the Yebusi that inhabited Jerusalem, but the Yebusi dwelleth with the children of Benjamin in Jerusalem to this day. And the house of Yosef, they also went up against Bethel, and Yahweh was with them. And the house of Yosef sent to spy out Bethel. Now the name of the city beforetime was Luz. And the watchers saw a man coming out from the city, and they said to him, Show us, we pray thee, the entrance into the city, and we will deal kindly with thee. And he showed them the entrance into the city, and they smote the city with the edge of the sword. But they let the man go and his family. And the man went into the land of the Chettim, and built a city, and called the name thereof Luz, which is the name thereof to this day. And Manasseh did not drive out the inhabitants of Beth-shan and its towns, nor of Taanach and its towns, nor the inhabitants of Dor and its towns, nor the inhabitants of Yeblaam and its towns, nor the inhabitants of Megiddo and its towns, but the Canaanite would dwell in that land. And it was when Yisrael became strong that they put the Canaanite to task work, and did not utterly drive them out. And Ephraim drove not out the Canaanite that dwelt in Gazer, but the Canaanite dwelt in Gazer among them. Zabulon drove not out the inhabitants of Ketron, nor the inhabitants of Nahalol, but the Canaanite dwelt among them, and became subject to task work. Asher drove not out the inhabitants of Akkor, nor the inhabitants of Thidon, nor of Ahlab, nor of Achzib, nor of Chelabah, nor of Aphik, nor of Rehob. But the Asheri dwelt among the Canaanite, the inhabitants of the land, for they did not drive them out. Naphtali drove not out the inhabitants of Beth-shemesh, nor the inhabitants of Beth-anath, but he dwelt among the Canaanite, the inhabitants of the land. Nevertheless, the inhabitants of Beth-shemesh and of Beth-anath became subject to task work. And the Amorri forced the children of Dan into the hill country, for they would not give him to come down to the valley. But the Amorri would dwell in Mount Heres, in Ayalon, and in Sha'alabim. Yet the hand of the house of Yosef prevailed, so that they became subject to task work. And the border of the Amorri was from the ascent of Akrabim, from the rock and upward. And the messenger of Yahweh came up from the Gilgal to Bochim, and he said, I made you to go up out of Mithraim, and have brought you to the land of which I swore an oath to your fathers, and I said, I will never break my covenant with you, and ye shall make no covenant with the inhabitants of this land. Ye shall break down their altars. But ye have not hearkened to my voice. Why have ye done this? For what reason I also said, I will not drive them out from before you, but they shall be as thorns in your sides, and their gods shall be a snare to you.